Many of the rapid-fire claims we're hearing from state leaders lack context. For example, here's the governor's attack on OSHA's rule enforcing vaccine requirements for large companies.
But if you read that OSHA rule, it's ignorance running amok.
But he's basing that on a claim that does not hold up to scrutiny.
Like immunity conferred through prior infection, they explicitly say that somebody that's recovered from COVID does not have protection, when we know that's not true.
The governor is misstating OSHA's rule. It explicitly states some individuals who were infected with COVID-19 may have significant protection from subsequent infections, despite his claim.
They explicitly say that somebody that's recovered from COVID does not have protection.
Again, it states some may have significant protection, but it also cites studies which indicate immunity acquired through infection appears to be less protective than vaccination, and that the level of protection appears to depend on the severity of the individual's infections. So with that, OSHA finds insufficient evidence to allow the agency to consider infection-acquired immunity at this time.
It's ignorance.
The governor is lobbying a range of attacks that can be misleading without context. For example, here's the governor attacking the president's infrastructure plan.
So they want to monitor the mileage that you're driving on your car and then tax you per the mile.
They, of course, can apply to anyone, so it does make it hard to nail down when he accuses they or them of wanting to do something. But assuming he's talking about the infrastructure law here, and that's the context of a statement, it includes a study of that kind of tax to draw revenue from electric car owners who don't pay gas tax. But it does not implement any such tax.
Some people want to be able to monitor the amount of car, because they say the gas tax doesn't get enough money.
Here again, he did not define they, and they in this case could also refer to leading Republicans who have floated either monitoring your mileage and taxing you per mile or just adding higher fees for electric cars. And while that only took the form of a study in the infrastructure bill, the Republican Florida State Senate advanced plans in 2021 to actually do something like that, with a Republican-sponsored plan to add higher fees for electric cars, which drew support from both parties in committee stops.
Well, that will never fly in the state of Florida.
Now let's go back to claims about the pandemic.
And so Florida, from the very beginning, when they were bugging us, all they wanted to do was lock down, we were opening the state, keeping the state open.
Well, Florida from the beginning was locked down, and it was DeSantis who ordered it.
We know, and the data is very clear at this point, COVID vaccines are not preventing infection, okay? It's just not.
Here he's disregarding infection rates for the unvaccinated versus the fully vaccinated, as well as the overwhelming consensus of scientists and research showing vaccines are effective at preventing infection, serious illness, and death. Which brings us to the vaccine skeptic he picked as Surgeon General who makes similar claims.
There's nothing special about them compared to any other preventive measure.
This week, Dr. Joseph Ladapo also made claims about masks in school children that clash with research.
There is no data that shows an improvement of health with these mask mandates for children. Zip, there's nothing.
On that point, federal research shows schools that require masks have had more success in fighting COVID-19 than schools that do not. One study found student infection rates increased more in schools that did not require facial coverings. And another study in Arizona found COVID-19 outbreaks were 4 times more likely to occur in schools that did not require facial coverings when schools reopened. Other researchers also examined 30 studies around the world, and they tied mask wearing to a 53% reduction in COVID-19. And those are just a couple of examples this week of the types of claims that merit fact checks that we'll continue to check and add the context in the coming rounds of Money, Power, and Politics.